today you'll be receiving from a message full of God's power to help you become everything that God has created you to be. You know, God sent his son, Jesus, to die for you to have a life of abundance and for you to be an ambassador for him. What does that mean? That your life should represent his goodness. It's time to be about it. Tune in today's message and you'll be blessed.
The title of my message this morning is You Can Be Bitter or You Can Be Better. You can be bitter or you can be better. But I want to submit this to you, the choice is yours. Circumstances will never be able to make the choice for you of whether you're bitter or whether you're better. That's a choice that you have all in yourself. So let me just kind of explain to you what's going on here. Is that obviously you have Naomi here, and she's had this major tragedy where she's had her husband pass, and then she's had her 2 sons pass. And one of the things that's important to understand was, first of all, they were Jews, and they had gone to Moab because there was famine in their land. And they made a bad decision, which led to bad choices that kept going on for years and years and led to a bad place. See, to understand about Moab is that Moab were the sworn enemies of the Jews. In fact, so much so, they even hired the prophet Balaam to undo the Jewish faith and to just go against all of that. And in addition to that, if you trace the ancestry of the Moabs, it goes all the way back to an incestuous relationship between Lot and one of his daughters. And they just never seemed to recover from that scandal. So much so that the Lord had instructed the house of Israel to not mingle or have any fellowship with the children of Moab. He said, even down to the 10th generation. So then you kind of got to ask yourself this question, well then how did Naomi and her husband and her 2 sons end up in Moab? They did what so many of us do. See, they were in the land and in the place where God called them to be. And how many of you know that just because you're where God called you to be does not mean that you won't have attacks? In fact, how many of you found out that when you get into the place that the Lord has placed you, here comes some attacks? I could have very easily said, you know what, it don't seem like it's the will of God for me to preach the word today because all of these bad things is happening and it's, you know, I just don't feel like No. I've told this church before, one of the things that I learned, especially as I was a basketball player growing up, being very tall, is, and I've been delivered from this, but the point still needs to be made, was when I was playing against and guarding a girl who was a scrub, I was nice to her. Nice to her. If she fell on the ground, sometimes I'd even help her up during the game. There were some girls that if they made a shot, even if they scored on me, which didn't happen much, but even if they scored on me, I might just pat her on the butt while she running about, good shot, because she was a scrub. And I was like, that's probably the first shot you'd have made in a game, and I don't know how long. But when I was playing a team and the scouting report was coming back and my coach was saying, oh, the star player is the center that you're guarding, and she averages 18.5 points a game and 10 rebounds, and I'm like, she not getting no double-double on me. So when I walked into the court, you know, before the game, they bring you to the center for you to shake hands and the captains of the team to shake hands. I would start talking junk. As soon, when the team was warming up, I'd be eyeing her across the court like, it's me and you. And then to the point where when I got up on her and we had to meet and shake hands before the game, I was just nasty. I was trying to get into her head. Then if I'm guarding her, I was cheating and doing all kind of stuff, kicking and, you know, hitting the knee in a way that makes it buckle and the refs don't see it, and holding her jersey and talking junk, scoring on her, yo mama, all kinds of stuff. I've been delivered from this. This was a while ago. But what's my point? My point is the enemy brings out his best tactics because you are the star of the team. You know, if you put aside the drama, take it as a compliment that God saw fit to have you here in a time such as this. With such pain and devastation, with such a need in this earth, he could have saved Paul for today. He could have saved King David for today. He could have saved Mary and Joseph for today. He could have saved Abraham for today. But you know what? They're up in heaven cheering us on because God saw something in you. He has preserved you for a time such as this. He has confidence in you. Even where you are, even in the midst of a famine. But they didn't see that. They made a mistake. So they hear, oh, well, there's famine in our hometown, where I hear over there in Moab. I know that's where God said not to go, but in Moab, they got it going on, so we just gonna go over there. So that was the first mistake. So then they get over there, and then naturally those sons, they marry Moabite women. They're out of the will of God. And you gotta be careful not to chase things and forget about God. You know, my husband is from England, and I remember the first time I went over there and I got to talk to his dad for a little bit. His dad is a bishop over in Milton Keynes, United Kingdom, and he was talking about the will of God. And he was talking about his story and the challenges that he went through in his life. He was born in Jamaica, and his parents, trying to get him another life, give him a better life, had immigrated over to England, but they left him in Jamaica. And so he had multiple challenges, and so he was out on his own very quickly. And he talked about the challenges, and you know, his wife was, you all met Lady Lou last year at conference. She was stricken with cancer for 8 years, and she's healed. Their second son, Darren, was born into renal failure. He is one of the only living 5 kidney transplant patients, still alive to this day. And he shall continue to live and proclaim the glory and the works of the Lord. And then he talked about all these different challenges in different ways. And he said this to me. He said, the will of God is like water. It will find its own way as long as you don't build a dam to stop it. And sometimes when you let the circumstances dictate where you're going to go, how you're going to act, how you're going to be, instead of letting that, the steps of a righteous woman are ordained of the Lord. Because, you know, even when you get to a place where it's rocky, when there are things there, water finds a way to get through any kind of obstacle unless you stop it.
I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. I want to invite you to subscribe, as well as visit our website at michelleferguson.org. We have some materials there that can help you as you walk through life, live the life that God created for you. As always, I'm Michelle Ferguson, helping you to discover, develop, and celebrate who God has created you to be. See you next time.